Now, not only am I live streaming, but you can hear me. What I was telling you is this is Right Talk. I am Catherine Lang, and I really do know what I'm doing. I'm just pretending I don't. I have done podcast, and now I am doing live streaming, and I'm glad to have you here with me. I'm using the XSplit and YouTube live option for doing the Right Talk. We will be talking to writers. We will talk about writing in all different genres, and we will share tips and ideas about this writing journey. Now, for those of you who don't know, National Novel Writing Month kicks off on November 1st. For those of you who do know, you're already crazy because you're thinking about writing an entire novel in 1 month. And yes, it can be done. And yes, it is a little hectic. But what's amazing is that it teaches us, doing this project teaches us that when we put our minds to it, when we really get serious about it, then we are able to accomplish more than we could ever imagine. But the key is making it a priority, making writing a priority. And you will hear me say this very often. Anything that you want, you can have. But you have to be willing to do it in order to get it. It's not going to happen to you, and the same goes for writing. If you want to build a career on words, then you're going to have to invest in words. You're going to have to write, and preferably every single day. So today I'm going to share with you 21 tips to get organized right. Actually, I'm only going to share a few of the tips because it really is. That's a lot of information for a short period of time. We're going to stop at 10:30 Central Time. So we'll be stopping here in just about 25 minutes. One of the things I want to highly recommend is that you have a schedule. Now, I not only create content for other people and for my own websites and write books, but I also homeschool my children and help with my dad's household and help with my father-in-law. It is just a little bit crazy around my house on any given day. And most days it's way beyond crazy. Right now, I can honestly say I have not a clue where my 10-year-old is hiding. Normally, he is in his room doing his thing, but he went outside to play baseball, which means he's probably at Grandpa's watching TV. Not an unusual situation, but just kind of to give you an idea of how crazy it can get. If I don't have a schedule, and if I don't have an understanding of what my day, my week, and sometimes even my month is going to look like, then it very quickly spirals out of control. And there's no time for me to write. There's no time for me to do anything because I'm so caught up in everything else. So I have to make a schedule. I have to write down all the things that I need to accomplish. 2 weeks ago, I started adding all the things that my children and my husband need to accomplish as well. So I know what's coming up that week, not only with homework, but with projects and with events. And that keeps them from sneaking up on me because they can sneak up on me if I'm not careful. So I have to write it all down, and I write it all down in a way that's going to allow me to understand it. It's going to allow them to understand what's going on. And between us all, hopefully, we will be in a position to make it work. I know that there are certain events that we have to do, and we're down to one family car, so sometimes we have to pack it all in together. If I know ahead of time and I utilize that time, then I'm in a position to make it work. If all of a sudden I discover that, oh my goodness, my son also has 4 other things he has to do, now I have to adjust the whole schedule for everybody to try to get us all where we need to go. So once I've written everything down, I'm going to pack it into a schedule. This is a schedule for me. Please do not feel like you have to follow the way I create a schedule. My husband's not even allowed to look at my schedule. My husband's one of those, he has to actually check off everything that's on the to-do list, and he has to follow the A, B, C, D, and I'm just not even close to that kind of schedule follower. My schedules are always very specific and extremely flexible. I was doing a schedule that was segmented. 20 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, then 10 minutes every hour. So for 20 minutes, I would work on a project. 10 minutes, I would exercise, stretch, clean, do something active. 20 minutes, I would be back on a project. And then 10 minutes, I would just relax. And that gave me a lot of accomplishment in an hour's time. However, because of school and because my children have things that they have to, places they have to be, and because we're in that one car situation, I've had to adjust and recalibrate my schedule. Now I know that there are going to be blocks of times where I'm going to be at an activity, but I can fill those blocks of times with other items on my personal to-do list. So like when I go to karate with my son from 10 to 12, he's going to be doing karate, but I've got 2 hours that I can do editing, or I can do blog writing, or I can do content writing for my clients. So there are things that I can accomplish in that block time. Sometimes I have to do other things. So that's why it's very specific, but also very, very flexible. But I have a schedule. If you want to make the most of the time that you have, you need to have a schedule of some sort. From first thing in the morning, I'm going to do my reading. First thing in the afternoon, right after lunch, I'm going to do my writing. Before I go to bed, I'm going to review and make a note of all the things that I've accomplished. By making this schedule work out this way, I am in a position to utilize all the time that I have. You will never make more time. This is the one thing that you are not capable of recreating. The time that you use is the only time that you get. Once you let it go, it's gone. Once you spend it, it's gone. You're not getting it back. But amazingly, you have the exact same amount of time in your day that every other person has in their day. The difference between those who reach their success and check all those things off their to-do list and those that are still making the to-do list is how we utilize our time. A schedule will help us utilize our time. I also have a calendar of events, not only of my events and my activities and my needs, what I need to get done, but of my family's and my other obligations. If my dad's going to be out of town for a week, I need that on my calendar. I need to be aware that that extra set of hands or that extra vehicle is out of town and it's not going to be accessible. Excuse me. If I don't have a calendar laid out with everything going on that calendar, then I will overschedule myself. I will double book myself every single time. I did that just recently. My husband put on his calendar something. I didn't put it on my calendar, or it didn't get transferred over to the family calendar. I put something on the family calendar that overlapped what he had on there, and it was chaos once again. Now, granted, in a house full of boys, it's normally chaos, but I try to limit that chaos as much as possible. Having a list of what we need to do, having a schedule, and having everything mapped out on a calendar helps me. Now comes the tricky part. We need to get organized. If you look over here, you'll see that I have a stack, and I have a stack that for most people, my husband, it is not even almost organized. But it's a file folder with all of the information that I have from the wreck my boys were in this summer. And it's my focus folder, which I'll be happy to share with you. If you go over to my website, you can actually get how I made my focus folder. It has all of my information in it. I can put it in my Go office, and I'm ready to walk out the door in a minute's notice. And I know that I'm going to be able to accomplish tasks because I have my focus folder and I have work in my Go office. But you have to be organized. And it has to be organized in a way that you're going to use it, and you're going to do it consistently. If you're just going to stack all of your stuff in a pile, that says to be filed. That's not organized. At least have it in stacks that are specific to each element of the stat, the situation. So like I have writing prompts, or I have work or queries that I've sent out. I have all these different. Now, again, my focus folder has really made that a lot easier for me, because each section of my focus folder has a place to put my queries, has a place to put my correspondence with my clients, and has all of this information in this one folder. So I get to take it with me everywhere, like I said. It's really made organizing a lot easier. Now, doesn't mean it's perfect. And if you ask my husband, it's completely chaotic. That's a really comfortable way for him to look at my particular brand of organizing. But I see things differently than he does. And I know that I can take those two stacks that are sitting there, and they're not necessarily stacks. What they are is all of the scripts that I've written for my radio show, and I was going to transcribe those into ebooks. I can take those and I can put them in a drawer, and they're put away. They're out of his vision. And for my husband, out of eyesight is organized. If you're one of those, then by all means, get some cabinets, put it in your cabinet if you're not going to file it away. The key is to find something that allows you to keep your records and your other information individually sorted, so it's easy for you to get a hold of. If you have to spend 15 minutes finding the information, that's 15 minutes you're not going to get back, and that you can't put to work on something that you really want to accomplish. So you need some way to keep it organized. One of my tricks is to use a Rolodex, or actually I use a recipe box. It was my husband's mother, who passed away in 1990. She had a really ornate recipe box. I don't use recipes. I'm not even sure how to use a recipe. And so what I did was I emptied it of all of its recipes, and I use it as my prompt box. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I have that box sitting there. I open it up, I take the index card out, and I write down what it is that came to my mind. Sometimes it's an outline for an article. Sometimes it's an awesome character. Sometimes it's even a book idea. And I kind of label that at the top, and I stick it back in the recipe box. And now I have a nice little way of organizing my random thoughts. And believe me, I need to organize my random thoughts. I have lots of those. When I am stuck for an idea, I have my box of random thoughts that can get me going. Writing, there's no such thing as writer's block. The only thing writer's block is a delusion that procrastination has created to keep me from doing what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Procrastination doesn't want me to write, because the only way I'm ever going to build success as a writer is to write. I have to write the words out, and I have to get the words down if I'm going to build up a career with words. So I use this great recipe box as a recipe for my writing success. There you go. How about that? I write out the words of the ideas in the box, and then it's handy for me later. Plus, it keeps all those random thoughts organized, as opposed to just randomly being placed around in my different piles. Finally, for today, is accountability. The key to success in any endeavor is to be accountable. Now, some of us can hold ourselves accountable, particularly in some situations. For instance, I know that I have to feed my kids, so I hold myself accountable to feed my kids. I know that I have to write, but if it's for me, then I struggle to hold myself accountable there, because I can always do it tomorrow. Why do it right now? I can always write it tomorrow. I don't have a deadline. It's not like I'm paying myself. I don't treat it as professionally as it needs to be treated, because I'm not being held accountable. So this past summer, I joined a mastermind group, and They have been amazing about holding me accountable, and not even in a way that they're trying to. It's not that they're trying to hold me accountable. It's just that knowing I have to share with them every single week pushes me to get done what I said I was going to get done. So if you don't have a mastermind group that you can meet with, or you don't have a writers group that you can meet with, commit to meeting with a friend or a family member that also writes or that understands the entrepreneurial spirit that's required for building a career with words. And just be ready to give them an account of what you're doing. That's all accountability is. It's someone that's going to hear your account of what you're doing. And you're only going to go so many times saying, I didn't do anything, before you either quit or start getting stuff done. So accountability is essential for building not only writing success, but success in anything. That's why groups that meet on a weekly basis or a regular basis are so much more successful. People that participate in these groups are so much more successful than those that tried to do it on their own. We are stronger when we're involved together, when we're working together, when we are building something together. So we need to invest in accountability. I am over at successfulfreelancewriter.com. You can email me your questions or your comments, and I will be glad to partner with you on this journey. I'll be glad to even set up a weekly meeting on our Successful Freelance Writer Facebook group so that we can give an account of what it is that we're doing in this writing journey. None of the journeys are going to be the same. Each one of us is going to have a unique journey, but just knowing that someone's watching out for us and that someone else is on the journey, it can give us the focus we need to take that next step. It gives me the focus. When I know that you're going to be watching, or you're going to be taking notes, or you're going to be aware of what I said I was going to do, then I'm more likely to do it. If with my children, even though I hold myself accountable to feed them, they're going to come ask me if I don't feed them. So their asking is usually the prompt that reminds me, oh yeah, by the way, you do have to feed them again, at least 3 times a day, because they're going to keep asking. And it doesn't matter if you just fix breakfast, they're still going to come and ask, because that's how they work. Now, over the next few weeks, I'm going to talk some more about these different ideas that you can utilize to get organized to write, because National Novel Writing Month, November 1st, is just around the corner, and you will be challenged to write 1,700 words on this novel project every single day. That takes some preparation. If you just dive in without checking the water, and without warning the people around you, there's no telling what's going to happen, which can be fun when you're a writer, but it can also be petrifying to the people around you. So we're going to get prepared. We're going to get organized to write. Please do visit the Facebook group, Successful Freelance Writer, and also visit the website, www.successfulfreelancewriter.com. I am Catherine Lang. I am a freelance writer for over a decade. I do write for a living. I write novels, I write nonfiction, and I do client work as well. If you are looking for someone to encourage you on your own writing journey, I am available. I have coaching sessions that I do. I'll be happy to give you a free consultation. Check me out, catherinelang.com. Just look for the contact button and you can sign up for your own free consultation, and let's see where we can work together and move forward in this journey to make words not only our passion but our profession. I'll be back soon. Be watching out for Write Talk, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day. figure out how to turn it off. Oh, yes, the joys of live streaming.